You're with Julian on the Brown Note, and I look at the assisted dying laws, voluntary assisted dying laws. So I noticed that they had to put voluntary ahead of that. I'm not sure how you can assist someone involuntarily, but anyway, the Dominic Perrottet, the new leader of the New South Wales Parliament, has done something that the right wing of the Liberal Party have resisted for many, many years, and that's hold an open debate on independent MP Alex Greenwich's voluntary assisted dying law. We're the last state in Australia that doesn't have one, and Perrottet has come out and said he will allow a conscience vote, so have Labor. And on Friday, just gone, it passed the lower house, has gone on to the Senate, and it is very likely to pass in New South Wales. And the I want more than they've offered, which is if you are 12 months terminally ill and the doctor decides that you've got 12 months to live, and if you have a degenerative wasting disease that will affect your quality of life, you will have access to assisted dying. Now, Dominic Perrottet is noticeably, we keep employing more and more religious leaders. He's like even more devout than Scott Morrison. Why do we keep getting these people from these backgrounds in? He is completely opposed to assisted dying, but he has allowed a vote that he will no doubt lose, so maybe he's showing himself to be a political animal. Voluntary euthanasia in Australia is one of the most bipartisan issues there is. 76% of Australians support assisted dying laws and 15% oppose. Amongst coalition voters, it's 74% versus 18% against. Amongst Labor, it's 80% for and 12% against. And even amongst Anglicans and Catholics, 70% of Anglicans and Catholics support assisted dying laws. This is something that the public have supported for a very long time in overwhelming numbers. But this hardcore religious right in Australia still dominates politics to the extent where these things aren't possible. But it is going to pass, I think. Even in one of the most Catholic countries on earth, Spain, 70% of the public support assisted dying, even 80% in some polls, and they passed it, becoming, I think, the 7th country in the world to pass assisting dying laws in March. So given there's 70% of religious people in Australia and 70% of the Spanish, who are mainly Catholic, support it, there's just this really hardcore cabal trying to stop it. Why is it that the religious right, when they represent less than 20% of the public, actually get to make policy? It's just crazy. And it's one of those issues like abortion and gay marriage where they get their cake and they get your cake. If assisted dying laws, abortion laws, and gay marriage all pass, it doesn't affect them at all. It doesn't stop them doing what they want. They want to tell you what to do. Now, my views on this is, I just want the same choice as you, Dominic. I just want the same choice you won't give up. You get to do your thing if I have a choice to do my thing or not. But what you're doing is stopping me having my choice. My choice doesn't affect you. Would you actually let me choose for you whether you have access to assisted dying or not? No. So why do you think that you have a right to tell me? You try and equate assisted dying laws with palliative care, which is we just need to look after people at the end of their lives better. That's happening anyway. We're not hurting palliative care. Everyone dies. Everyone in palliative care eventually dies. This is looking at that side of it. Doesn't stop people having palliative care. In fact, assisted dying laws are helping palliative care by taking the load off. You complain that there's not enough resources for palliative care. This will help you. This will take a lot of people out of that equation where they don't want to go through 4 months of excruciating agony receiving, $50,000 a week medical care. That's now yours. Take it. Now, the only opposition to many of these issues is a religious perspective. That's the only thing, believing that God gave you the right to life, that it's his given gift to you and that it's his to take it away. But you can't tell me to believe the same thing that you believe. unless you think that it's okay for me to tell you what to believe. So you can't enforce these things on me because I don't believe the same things that you do. In fact, 70% of religious people in this country support assisted dying laws. It's your interpretation of your religion. It shouldn't be allowed to impact anyone other than yourself. And it doesn't if it's legal or not, because you can still do the same thing. They say that it's about the value of life. It's defending this value of life, and that the assisted dying laws are removing the value of life. I disagree. Why is the end of life not part of life? Why is it not giving greater value to life to actually allow people to have a pleasant, controlled end to their lives? Why is it not devaluing life to force people into suffering at the end of their life? How is that promoting the value of life? Dying is part of life, and it will happen to all of us. Giving people extra quality at the end of their life, should they want it, is increasing the value of life. Why is it defending the quality of life to legally enforce suffering on other people than yourself? How is that some positive promotion of the value of life to say legally we can prosecute anyone that helps you at the end of your life should you choose a different route? Why make the end of our lives the worst bit? Why make it the scariest and most painful part of our lives? Why can't we have a great time at the end of our lives? Who told you that you have a right to tell me I can't go out and about? That I can't be happy? That I can't have all my faculties and all my physical being? That I have to waste away into nothing in agony? And just tell me I have to have palliative care, and that my last time on this earth is the worst time I have on this earth? You said it's changing our culture. What part of our culture is having a horrible end to our lives through fear and pain and suffering? That's not a culture I want. I want to change that culture. It's inhuman to make suffering mandatory by the law.